The only reason that Genza knows about anything to do with Jedi is because she has seen a documentary about them on the HoloNet. But she's shocked when Dooku moves things with his mind in order to save them from some attackers. So she didn't know what the Force was capable of. Even little Anakin only knew that Jedi carried laser swords, as he called it, but didn't know them as lightsabers, and he only knew that much because he was pretty obsessed with the Jedi, and his dream was that, one day he would become one and become free and free all of the slaves, and including his mom. In the canon book Queen's Shadow, even Padme doesn't care to think about the Jedi because she doesn't understand them, and would probably never have thought well enough about them anyways, if it weren't for Qui-Gon Jinn and what he did for her. In Rogue One, Chirrut Imwe is surprised that Jyn Erso knew that the Kyber crystals were used to power the Jedi lightsabers, which is why he chooses to help her escape from the Imperials. Even on the planet Jedha, apparently, people knew very little about the Jedi. Jyn only knew about the Kyber because of her father's work and because her mother made sure she knew about the Force. Even in the Rebellion, the average rebel knew next to nothing about Luke Skywalker and his Force abilities. In the canon book Lost Stars, we learn that Thane Kyrell, someone who had served in both the Empire and the Rebellion, didn't believe in the Force and didn't believe that Luke Skywalker was anything special. This wasn't out of jealousy, but was simply because he was like Han initially was in Episode 4. He had never seen anything to convince them that the Force was real, so he didn't believe it existed. In fact, even in the small rebellion, Thane never met Luke. So why didn't more people know about the Force and the Jedi? The Jedi didn't have a problem with people knowing about them, but like Anakin says to Padme in Episode 2, it was part of their rules to not show off their powers. They only used the Force when necessary, even when Yoda and other Jedi Masters got to Serrano to put on a demonstration to an audience. They only show fighting stances with their lightsabers, but they don't spar with one another, and they do very little else with the Force. Plus, it was in the Jedi's best interest to not give up much information about the Force. If everyone knew its secret, then people would also know its weaknesses. The Jedi did not want enemies learning how to counteract the Jedi abilities, nor did they want their enemies knowing the full scope of a Jedi's Force abilities. They even kept some secrets about the Force hidden from its own members, which is one of the reasons that Anakin turned to the dark side. The secrets the Jedi held would ultimately contribute to their cultural demise, and was why the Sith were able to wipe the Jedi out from the universe's mind. People forgot about them very quickly, since it's easy to forget something that you've never seen and know very little about. By the time Episode 7 comes along, the Jedi are barely legends. Hardly anyone knows anything about them. Rey has only heard of them, but knows nothing about them. Han Solo has to swear to them of their truthfulness as an eyewitness. No one else believed that they even had existed.